My personal experience with the product, because I took it for 3 months before I come on board, and that was the biggest difference that I found for myself, was the mental clarity that I had floored me. I haven't had that clarity of thinking for 20 years. Anxiety gone, calmness. Those were the biggest effects that I've had. And I'm reading through the testimonials from people who are using this, and there's such a wide range of additional benefits that they're getting. And I know IBS was a clinical trial, and that's what we claim and that's what we do, but it does seem to be doing all of these additional fixes from a health perspective.
Yep.
And is this coming down to the branch fats and the effect that they're actually having on the cells? Or?
Yeah. And, again, now I take on my scientist hat, and I don't want to get over my skis on this, but let me postulate a few reasons that might be, and something that we should explore more, definitely. I think first and foremost, we do know that changes in the microbiome. So the composition of, there are thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of individual bugs, billions of bugs in the gut. But also the different families, the different species that are in there as well. So we do know a shift to certain populations does help, modulate some sort of systems. We do know that some bacterium will help absorption of nutrients. And we do know that by getting rid of pathogens, reducing those pathogenic bacteria, they're all going to be in there, and viruses and fungi and other things as well. We do know that can have a profound impact on both our mental acuity, our emotional state, and also just our general feeling of gut wellness. So that's all been established, and I don't want to go into all of that. We do know that our branched-chain fatty acids do shift that population to one that's more healthier. We do know that the branched-chain fatty acids actually act at a cellular level, which is another step that probiotics don't do, in strengthening its integrity. So if you think that it's bombarded constantly with which nutrients do I let in, which toxins do I keep out, which things do I excrete, actively defend against, it gives it all its artillery and energy to do that, the cells at a cellular level. So that's got to make an impact, right? But let me give you a case study of where branched-chain fatty acids, where I think some of the microbiome studies will investigate, which will show that this has a unique proposition that other probiotics don't have, or other nutrients. So when you give branched-chain fatty acids to Pseudomonas, so Pseudomonas is a common bacteria that's in the gut. When it gets into places it shouldn't, it causes havoc. So when it gets into the lung, it causes pneumonia, when it blood, sepsis, etc., UTIs. So it's a ubiquitous. It forms biofilms. It's really hard to get rid of. It's a gram-negative rod, pathogens, bad one. What the studies have found, and these wonderful Japanese studies where they gave these Pseudomonas pathogens branched-chain fatty acids at different levels, or not, what they found is that in the presence of branched-chain fatty acids, these bugs grew, but they just stayed in there. They didn't cause these biofilms. They didn't try to invade other organs. They just sat there. So Tom and I call this fat and happy hypothesis. So we believe that, because bacteria predominantly use branched-chain fatty acids in their cell walls, so it's an essential nutrient for them. So where they're present, where branched-chain fatty acids are present, the bugs will just stay there because they're satisfied, right? Whereas if they're not getting the nutrients they start invading, looking for spaces where these branched-chain fatty acids might be. Might be other things as well, but this was a really good, solid mechanism of action that we could sort of tie to branched-chain fatty acids. I thought that was a fantastic study.
Yeah.